Did you know that the word kick shows up in over 100 English idioms?
Wow, that's a lot of kicking. I'm Alex, and today Sarah and I are going to unpack some of the most common kick idioms you hear every day.
We'll define each phrase, trace its origins, and give you real-world examples so you can use them with confidence.
Stick around, because we'll also reveal a few surprising twists, like why kick the bucket isn't about poultry at all.
I once heard someone say they get a kick out of crossword puzzles, and I thought they were talking about a literal kick.
That's the perfect segue. Let's jump in and start kicking off our idiom adventure.
First up, get a kick from something and get a kick out of something. They sound similar but are used slightly differently. Both mean to derive pleasure or excitement.
Exactly, Sarah. Get a kick from often implies a burst of thrill, like I get a kick from skydiving, while get a kick out of leans toward enjoyment, as in I get a kick out of watching old sitcoms.
What most people don't realize is that the kick here comes from the old slang for a sudden jolt of feeling, much like a physical kick.
Speaking of jolt, let's talk about kick against the pricks, a phrase you might not hear every day. Any idea where that comes from?
It dates back to medieval agriculture. A horse that kicks against the pricks, those sharp metal points on a horse's harness, was essentially resisting its own restraint. Metaphorically, it means futile resistance.
So when someone says he's just kicking against the pricks, they're basically saying he's fighting a losing battle.
Now, onto a classic, kick the bucket. Most people think it's about a bucket, but the real story is darker. Ever heard the theory about a wooden beam?
I have. Supposedly, in old barns, a bucket was attached to a beam. When someone stood on it to reach something high and then died, the bucket would tip, hence the phrase. And that's just one of several theories.
And here's a fun fact. The phrase appears in Shakespeare's Henry IV as kick a bucket, meaning to die. So it's been kicking around for centuries.
But here's what's really interesting. Kick your heels is actually a shorthand for kick your heels together, meaning to wait idly. Think of a horse impatiently shuffling its feet.
Right. And you'll hear it in sentences like, he was just kicking his heels at the office waiting for promotion. It paints a picture of inactivity.
What about a kick in the pants versus a kick in the backside? Both sound harsh, but they serve different rhetorical purposes.
A kick in the pants is a metaphor for a sudden shock or wake-up call, like the news was a real kick in the pants. Meanwhile, kick in the backside is more literal, often used humorously to describe a physical bump.
And that brings us to kick someone in the teeth. It's both literal and figurative, either a physical blow or a harsh insult. Have you ever heard it used metaphorically?
Absolutely. When a project fails spectacularly, a manager might say, that was a real kick in the teeth for the team. It conveys both pain and disappointment.
Now, kick over the traces is a British idiom meaning to leave abruptly, often after a dispute. Imagine a horse kicking the traces, the straps that hold it to the cart, when it's fed up.
Exactly, Alex. You might hear, after the argument, she kicked over the traces and never looked back. It's a colorful way to describe a sudden exit.
Here's where it gets fascinating. Kick back is all about relaxation. Just kick back and enjoy the weekend. It flips the aggressive image of kicking into something soothing.
And yet, kick up a fuss or kick up a row swings back to agitation, meaning to cause a commotion. Think of a neighbor who kicks up a fuss over a misplaced mailbox.
What most people don't realize is that kick someone upstairs is corporate slang for moving a problem out of sight, usually to a higher level of management. It's a polite way of saying, we're passing the buck.
Speaking of passing the buck, kick yourself is an idiom for self-reproach. When you miss a deadline, you might say, I really kicked myself for that.
And if you really want to emphasize a beating, you can kick the hell out of someone, a hyperbolic way to describe a thorough defeat. Whether in sports, or an argument.
Finally, to kick up a stink, make a stink, or raise a stink means to cause a complaint or protest. Picture a community that kicks up a stink over a new development.
And that's just the beginning of how versatile the word kick can be in everyday language.
We've covered everything, from harmless kicks to full-blown kicks in the teeth. Quite the linguistic workout.
If you're feeling a kick of curiosity now, try slipping one of these idioms into your next conversation and see the reaction. It's a fun way to level up your English.
Remember, the context determines whether a kick is a compliment, a complaint, or a cautionary tale. Use them wisely.
Next episode, we'll explore idioms that revolve around fire, from playing with fire to out of the frying pan. You won't want to miss that blaze of insight.
Thanks for kicking it with us today. Stay curious, stay conversational, and keep those idioms rolling.
Until next time, keep the conversation kicking.